tell you that right now. But
hi, everyone. Welcome to Survivor Now podcast. Today, we have a full house of all of our panelists. We have Ollie, Kara, and Bruce. And we are, of course, talking about the finale of Australian Survivor, Australia versus the world. Zan's in the live chat says it's Survivor time, and I agree. I cannot believe that we are already at this moment where it's done. It's the finale. A winner has been crowned.
I mean, are we surprised though? It was literally a 16-day season, so of course it was going to be finishing now.
all right, so I gotta say something real quick. With the outcome, congratulations to the winner. And we won't talk about it yet because we have a lot to go over. But congratulations. But in my protest, I am a diabetic. So what I'm going to do is I am going to eat in my protest this ice cream sandwich while we are on the show, and I'm going to put my physical health in danger because I am protesting the winner. I don't want the winner to be who the winner was. Nothing against the winner. I wanted somebody else. You know what? I don't know. That doesn't happen. I'm podcasting, but you know what? You guys go ahead. I'm gonna take myself out.
What? You know what? I'm excited to hear your thoughts, Bruce. I can't wait. I think I know who you preferred to win based on our last episode, which, by the way, if you had not checked that out yet, go ahead and check that out, especially if you haven't watched this episode. You really don't want spoilers, right? So if you don't want spoilers, make sure to click off and come back after you're done with the incredible finale. Jaden says, is this the end of an era? And I think absolutely, especially with JLP's final season being this. I know we're going to talk about JLP a little bit later. We have a lovely little slide dedicated to him. Zan's asked, will Shawnee have an exit interview? The answer is no. We did try to get Shawnee in for an exit interview. Unfortunately, timing just did not align. She has done a lot of different exit interviews, so make sure to go support and check her out there as well. Zans, I really appreciate that you wanted us to have one too. I appreciate that. But, you know, there may be more exit interviews coming. So if there are any questions, go ahead and use the live chat, which is open, of course. So if you have thoughts on the episode as well, if you agree or disagree with Bruce, let us know in the live chat. There you go, Bruce. All right. So Sans says, I didn't know there were other channels for Survivor. That's right, Sans, there aren't. It's just us. Let's go ahead and get right into today's episode with the final four. There we go. I like this layout. Okay. So we got a nice little opening intro. And what storylines, this is sort of a leading question, but what storylines were you all most excited for going into this? Bruce, I want to start with you.
Blood sugar's high. I love it. So my thing with this is that the storyline that I was really looking to see, there were two of them. There was Luke and there was also Cirie. And, you know, I think that they did a good job. I had a very good feeling as to where Cirie was going to fall out with this challenge. And then with Luke, like, it would have been great to see him win again, to stir up some controversy in regards to these final three that could potentially, you know, win the game. But if I was leaning anyway, it was going to lean towards Cirie, a little bit more towards Cirie for this little storyline they had.
Kara, were you also invested in the Cirie? I know it was the big, like, Cirie and Parvati rehash of Micronesia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking forward to see how that would play out, but I really was looking forward for Luke's storyline too, to see how that ended, because we saw like a few episodes ago when they showed the flashback of him losing that challenge and then getting voted out, and this felt like a similar moment like that one, and I was excited to see how it would play out. Would he win this challenge? Is he going to make it to the final three? It was all very exciting.
And Kara, Zach in the live chat would like to know how you're doing.
Oh, I'm doing good. Hello.
Ollie, and someone pointed out, Michael right here just pointed out that the final three was JLP. What do you think of that?
I was going to say, did you not clock my reaction? I think you were just asking Cara a question, and I was there going, that's what I was reacting to. Yeah, that is so funny. Like, the Survivor gods went, we're just going to pay homage one more time. So yeah, that was very cute. I didn't even think about that until just now. Well done, Michael.
Yeah, right. That's very clever. And while we're speaking about clever, I love a good final immunity challenge on Australian Survivor. Who was it? Parvati walked in and was like, y'all are dark. Like, this was torturous. And I loved it so much. I mean, I have to say, I am kind of partial to when they do the setting of one of these challenges on the edge of the cliff with like the waves crashing. Like, that's very cinematic. But I did like the set. I will say, when we started the season, we were sort of thinking that the challenges were going to be very similar to the challenges that were featured in Brains vs. Bronze 2, because they kind of filmed back to back. But they did a lot of original stuff in a short amount of time, and I'm really impressed.
Same. Like, they really said, we're going to put our stamp on AE versus the world. And I, like, Matthew, you know this, I do love the final immunity challenge as well for AE versus the world. I'm just the sadistic person that's like, that looks fun. I want to try it. I want to put my feet on the pegs. My feet hurt quite a lot, so it looks like it'd be therapeutic for me. I'd be having a lovely time. So I'm always excited for this one.
Who was it that said, JLP, you're gonna let it on fire too? Like,
Cirie or Parvati.
That wouldn't have surprised me. That wouldn't have surprised me at all, because that looked absolutely torturous. And you know, I'm sitting on my couch and I'm watching. I'm like, okay, so where would I position my own feet? See, like, would I put my heel on one side, the front of my foot on the other? Like, would want to like stagger them a little bit? Like, what was I gonna do? And then after I was thinking that, I was like, no, I would just be in pain. I would have dropped off early. Like, that just seemed extremely painful.
Yeah. Do you think you would have made it? I think Cirie was the first person to get out, and that was about 30 minutes in. Bruce, do you think you would have made it that long?
I would say yes, 30, less than 45. Just because it just seems painful. Like, it's the bottom of your feet. You got so many pressure points there. Like, it's just you're gonna hit the right one. You're like, oh, I'm done. Goodbye.
Kara, do you think you would have done well?
I mean, I think the hardest part for me would have been holding the bags. I feel like my arms would have hurt. I feel like standing on the pegs, I could have done. I think it's the holding and my arms hurting.
Yeah.
That would have done me in.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. There was a part of me that was like, maybe it offsets, right? Like, maybe it kind of offsets the amount of pressure you're putting on your feet, but that's not how physics works. So, you know, it is what it is, but it's a great challenge. Yeah. And we get our winner, who is Parvati. And I love seeing, she definitely had like an emotional release to this, which was really nice to see, because I think she also realized, like, she made it this full game without a vote against her. And that is continuing into this final tribal council. Right before the final tribal council.
Yeah, I mean, this was such a nice moment. And I think as well, because like the last time we saw Parvati get to the end was Heroes versus Villains. And obviously we had seen like that, and she was like, she said in her kind of like at the start of the episode, like, I lost to a bit of jury right here in Samoa. Like, it's probably that emotion as well. Like, she's come into that challenge with that emotion. So to have that win, and I think is also I think she kind of said it in a confessional. She was like, I've made sure I get there. Now I've got to make sure Cirie gets there. Like, she saw the plan coming together. So I think that's why she was very emotional. But it was very cute. It was nice to see.
Yeah, it's you know, especially when like we don't see I would say we don't always see like a lot of emotion from Parvati. So it is nice to like kind of see a different layer of someone that we all know and love, you know, on our screens. So it was nice. And I'm really happy that she won. But of course, this means that we have a question, which, by the way, I'll get to some people in the chat before we move on to the scramble before tribal. Zans, I also was surprised that they were able to touch their back to the structure. I wonder if there was like a time limit on how long they were able to do that, or, you know, that was interesting to me. But yeah, it didn't look like it really helped anyone either. So whatever. And Jaden says, wasn't surprised that Parvati won. She's kind of good at these. And but yeah, endurance challenges, like I would not like to go up against Parvati in any one of those. I think she's just so good. All right, so let's get to.
I think she had kind of an unfair advantage though too, because you know, if you look at the picture right there of her, I think she in I'm not body shaming in any way, shape, or form, but she weighs like 90 pounds. Like there's got to be something that has to weigh in. I know that when we were doing the pole challenge, we're hanging onto the pole in 45. I didn't stand a chance. I weighed so much more, and I slid down and I was done. Austin weighed a lot. Jake weighed a lot, and you can be strong in the mind, but that has something else to do with it. Everything, every piece of your physical prowess and your mental all weigh in to every single part of this that you do. Like with the upper body, you're holding on, you're just holding on, and then all of a sudden, like that's perfectly fine, but your feet are killing you. So all your weight is on your feet. So she had the advantage overall going in. And I'm sorry, before we go on, she was holding that thing out here like this, and she had a gun showing. I'm like, damn, like the muscles, let it run. So good for her. I was happy to see she did get the final immunity. I'll give her that much because I'm competitive and I want to see that.
See, I actually, to your point, Bruce, I actually think that this type of challenge is more equal or more fair than the pole hugging challenge, just because that one, everyone gets it seemed like everyone gets the same structure, same divots to kind of like put your toes in or put your fingers in. This one, it felt like everyone, it seemed like they all had a percentage of their body weight. And then I'm guessing it's like the pressure of being on your foot that I imagine is similar to everyone regardless of weight.
Do you think the weight was a counterbalance? Maybe.
I keep going back and forth on that.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Let's get into this pre-scramble. So obviously we have this promise that Janine made to Luke right before he gave up individual immunity in the last episode. And I think the whole question comes down to, will Janine keep her promise to Luke, or will she side with Cirie and Parvati and vote Luke out? And here we see Cirie pitching her reasons why it would not be smart to bring Luke to the final three. I thought Janine was giving, I thought that Cirie was giving a really nice pitch here.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I think Cirie was making all the right points, and obviously biasy of me when she mentioned the whole final three of women. I was like, yeah, that's me. That would have me sorted. But no, I like in like the context strategically, like I think she did make some really good points for Janine, and I think even the fact of like Janine, I think kind of also could have taken it as, we're letting both two world people go to the jury. You then possibly have the chance for maybe all of the Aussies votes. So I was like, maybe she could, but I definitely think Cirie did a very good job here of explaining. It was just Janine.
Bruce, I have to agree with the point that you made in the last episode where like Cirie sitting at the final three, she's winning. Like I think the votes go to Cirie to win. So when I'm seeing Cirie pitch her case here to Janine, I did not believe for 1 second that Janine was going to just vote out Luke in response to this, because I feel like Cirie is that big of a threat to win.
Yeah, and with the knowledge that we have sitting on our couch, we obviously, it was one of those conversations that were being had, and being out there and trying to pitch a very good idea, which makes a whole ton of sense, but not really feeling the full gravity and the full weight of the relationship that Janine has with Luke. It all makes sense. It made sense to Janine. It did. It had to have. But she has that relationship with Luke. He just gave her the immunity idol necklace, the previous episode. So, as much as Cirie did an amazing job, her storytelling is great, and she explained it properly. It just, I was like, oh, it's just not going to hold water. It's not going to work.
Kara, from the perspective, if you were in Janine's POV here, as best as we can, right? Just from, like Bruce said, we're on the couch. What considerations do you think you would be making to make this decision?
I think like if I'm Janine in this situation, I'm thinking I'm sitting in the final three either way. It just depends who I want to sit next to. At that point, do I want to sit next to Luke, who I've been loyal to and just continue that story to the end, have 2 Australians in the end, or do I want to just take the easier route? I mean, I don't know. Either way, she was gonna be sitting there, so I guess it's not easier, but, like, maybe have a potentially better chance of getting some votes next to Parvati and Cirie. I think that's what would have been going through my mind, like, maybe which way do I have a better chance of maybe winning?
Mm.
But yeah, either way, she was gonna be sitting there, so it was just who she wanted to sit next to.
Well, on that note, I was kind of surprised that at least the viewers, we did not even see Cirie and Parvati talk about what did we put Janine in fire making. I was kind of surprised that we
Mhm.
didn't even hear that discussion because the whole time I do think Parvati had a confessional saying something along the lines of like, she's nervous about Cirie making fire against Luke or something like that.
Yeah.
What do you think, Ollie?
Well, I think it's because they saw, obviously in that moment, they saw Luke's game as more threatening to win. So it was kind of like, I think, even though I think they balanced out of, are we more afraid of Luke just having a chance at the final 3, or are we more worried of like what's happening with Janine? I feel like that's what they were kind of weighing up, like how big of a threat do they truly believe Luke is? And I mean, it's a testament to obviously his game that they thought he was good enough, but I can see on the flip side, it was a testament that Janine was able to weasel her way into not being a name. But I am kind of slightly surprised that they didn't consider it just because like it was always an option.
Yeah, Luke had a very good track record to run on. The final votes didn't show it, whatever. But that could be like you were saying. I would have went with that and said like, let's get Janine to the final, the final fire making challenge and go from there. Which still would have, I don't know, still would have brought Luke to that situation. But even I don't know. I just don't think that taking a look at what Luke did. And then him in fire, like I think it wasn't as close as it really was. I think the editing kind of made it look that way. But Cirie, for all the things that she's done right, the thing that she did wrong was fire making. So let's figure that out. Maybe throw Janine in there. Maybe Janine will. I don't know. I just think it was a bad decision on that part there.
Sure. I mean, let's take it to when that decision has to be made here, where we dang it. this did not fit in frame. Let me make sure that's not the okay, good. Okay, so we go to the final tribal council before the final tribal council. You know what I mean? And this is where we find out that both Cirie and Luke have been sent to make fire. Now, real quick, before we go any further, there is some really great chat comments that I want to pull up here. Zan says, was wishing to see the women take the final 3 spots and to see Cirie get her shot. I think that's where I'm also really sad. The fact that we've seen 5 seasons and we have yet to see Cirie pitch her case to a jury.
Yep.
We'll see with 50. Maybe it takes 6 seasons to do it. And then Michael says, Michael doesn't believe that Cirie beats Parv at the end if she were to get there. And Michael, I think you have a good argument. I think Shawnee, Kirby, Cass, and Tommy still respect the game and vote for Parv. Luke votes for Janine and Sarah votes for Parv. I will say I might disagree a little bit on Cass and Tommy just because I know Cirie had a really good relationship with them, but could have not have it didn't. Yeah.
I have a scenario. What if Parvati gave Cirie the immunity and went to fire? Do you think she could beat Luke potentially? Or maybe they put Janine there? Like, or maybe not, just going against Luke. Like, do you think she could have beat Luke in fire?
That's interesting because I don't think we've ever seen Parvati make fire. So we've never really known her skills.
That's a scenario that, again, Ollie, yes, we'll never see it because we never saw it. But I really don't think anyone was, and any of the 3 that were left were going to beat him in fire. I don't think so.
But I see your point, Kara, too. It's like, and also I feel like feel like Parvati was so set on her storyline of wrapping up the I lost in Samoa once, I am not losing in Samoa again.
Yeah.
So, I think also Cirie understands too, like Parvati
Yeah.
was fair and square.
Yeah, I don't think Cirie would have allowed Parvati to do that. I actually don't think she would have.
I'm just glad Cirie made a fire, considering the last time she had to make fire. I'm glad that there was like a little bit of redemption here.
It was a good fire.
There's one comment, and I'm kind of reading on my television as we're watching. There's one comment that Cirie wouldn't have won. Let's just say, let's do this. There it is right there. Let's say that Parvati, yes, says Cirie, take this. I want to go to fire, blah, blah, blah. And then Cirie turns around and says, no. I want to do this. This is my, my dragon to slay. And let's just say beats Luke. They're all voting for Cirie. Because it's that front of mind thing that's happening at this moment in time. Like I think they really would have turned around and be like, "Oh, Cirie, you got my vote. You fought so hard, and the best player to never win. We're gonna give it to you." That's what I think could, in my twisted mind, could have potentially happened.
Well, I also think to that point, and Mary, I do see what you're saying, because I do think a lot of the game has to do with the pushing moves, being a strategic threat, winning immunity challenges, and also to what you said with the advantages. I see your point there, but I also wouldn't put it past a jury to vote for Cirie, especially because she didn't do a poor game. She didn't do a poor game. I do see your point though, but I have to disagree with this. 5 seasons and she can't make fire. We're looking at it. There's fire.
There's fire.
All right.
I mean, I feel like what was I gonna say? I feel like she could make a good case in the end. Like her social game was something that really carried her through. And even when her name wasn't out there, she still was getting the votes and she still was getting voted for at tribals, where I feel like she could make a good case like around that in a way.
I think
like
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
Sorry, I was going to say, I think Zan's comment that he's just putting is also quite a good thing to add. Like she was the glue of the World Alliance, so she has that to kind of bring in as well. But yeah, I think her social game was her strongest suit this season, and I'd be intrigued to see if she was at the final tribal, what strategically she would have said.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part of me that is so happy that I know that she's on 50, because I feel like this would have felt all the more devastating if I felt like she didn't have another chance at the game. Like I'm really sad about this because I just want Cirie to have that moment, especially to pitch her case. By the way, I have to use this photo. Usually we use the torch being snuffed photo, but how did they frame this so that it covered her? I was so upset because this isn't the first time that they've covered her face in shots, and this bothered me.
This is such a good picture though, with her pointing. That's such a good photo.
Because you're like, if I can't remember exactly what it was that she said, but it made me smile. It made me smile. She said, I wish I remember what it was, but I smiled. Like, it's like, oh, well, and all of them, who left pissed off? Who left extremely mad? Like, nobody left mad. It's like they all know what they're representing. They've played the game before, and I was told before that the best people to be around in my production, the best people to be around are the people that have played the game more than once. After they get voted out, because now they're just like it's a party. They're thankful for getting the chance to play again, and they just go back to Ponderosa or whatever have you, and they have a good time. So, that's the grace that she has right there. And just knowing where she is, she's played the game 5 times to this point, and she's just like, okay, this is fun, and that's it.
Well, on that note, we had to say goodbye to Cirie yet again. Still holds the title of being the best player to never win Survivor. We'll see if that changes with 50. But why don't we take a very quick break? And I'm speaking slowly because I need to find the trailer in my files. And then we're going to talk about the final 3.
Do you have what it takes to outwit, outplay, and outlast? Katie does. Since 2015, she's been handcrafting Survivor treasures for super fans just like you. Hidden immunity idols, she's got them. From one world to the Philippines, every piece is designed and created by Katie herself check this out. Katie's brand new Tribe Emblem coin, a collectible inspired by Survivor All-Stars, a must-have for any superfan. Keychains, oh yeah. Ride along with Keith's legendary Tuk Tuk or try your luck with the Do or Die twist. What is that, the most famous stick in Survivor history? Yes, that stick. Katie doesn't stop at idols. Oh no, she's even bringing in international flavor with an Australian Survivor cookie idol twist. Idol nullifier, safe or not safe, she's got them too. How about something you can actually wear to Tribal? Katie's Survivor earrings are hot right now. Want your idols on the go? How about keychains? Take your tribe with you everywhere. And don't forget Katie's most famous Survivor product, Survivor trading cards. Fans love them, and so do the players. With over 500 cards and full stats on the back, you can collect your favorites from every season, including the full jury from Survivor 48. Katie Tedesco Art is the Survivor super fan shop, made by a fan for the fans since 2015. Check it out now on Etsy.com and follow her on Instagram at Katie Tedesco Art.
I know Zanz also loves Katie's artwork, and yeah, she is amazing. So go ahead and please absolutely support small creators, and just so great reminder all around. Look at this shot. Look at this shot. This is my favorite shot of the entire season. I can't believe
if Australian Survivor, they know how to do good shots. Like, they know how to make an impressive like angle and all that. Because we saw it at the start as well. Like, they're good with their camera.
It's like, did they just tell her to like, oh, just go stand by the butterflies? Yeah, look out into the distance.
Exactly. Listen, these guys that are out there, and I know I have a very good feeling that the people that are doing Survivor, there's a crossover between Survivor US and Survivor Australia, because there were a lot of Aussies that were there that were recording for us. And this is an art. This is their art. You do not want to screw up their shot that they have, because they could win an award. This is what they've gone to school for. They've done all sorts of work. They've worked underneath people, and they've fought with people to get to where they are, and they take this so seriously. So when whoever this person was, man or woman, that sat there and took that shot, they were like, "Thank you for putting that on, because this right here, this is cinematic. This is beautiful. Like, to see all that, like, come on, man. Like, who's gonna think about that? They're just like, over there, boom." and he's probably like on his back. He's probably sideways, holding the camera. Like, they go nuts, but they get a great shot. So I tip my hat to that person.
And what a way to symbolize Parvati's metamorphosis, from the Black Widow to the Monarch. I don't know. So let's keep on going. We have our final three. Of course, we get just like Lisa was saying about all of the being on the bottom tropes. This is like the final three tropes. You all have to stand on the beach. You all have to look out into the distance. You all have to cheers with champagne and celebrate. And we get a nice little highlight of what each one of them are sort of planning to pitch going into this final tribal council, where they have to go up against the jury. Ollie, I wonder if you want to start us off with this whole segment, because this felt like a really substantial jury segment.
Yeah, I mean, I expect nothing less, because again, it was like, it's a world-class season. We need like a world-class Survivor Tribal in the jury sense. I think all three of them did a really good job at kind of the start with all of their pitches. There was one thing that as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh no. But other than that, it was a really good start. And I think the jury themselves did a great job at getting the players to answer questions that they needed to. You obviously had, okay, I'll talk about the point that I was a bit like, no.
Later.
Right
now, I was hoping you would do a spark or snuff.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, sparks all around. Oh my God, Sarah looks so good. I also love Shawnee's outfit. I love Tommy's poncho. I think we saw that 2 episodes ago. But yeah, sparks all around. Like, what a good looking jury, I must say.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just can't stop. I'm not going to lie. The best dressed is Sarah. I'm so sorry.
Kara, in terms of the opening arguments, which one really caught your attention?
I I liked the little story Luke told in the beginning. I thought that was cute and like a nice opening, but I think Parvati's was my favorite overall. Janine, hers felt like something was missing. It felt like they like cut the beginning out and they just used the end of her speech. I felt like something was missing with hers. But I think Parvati completely took the cake with that one. I think she did the best.
Bruce, do you agree or disagree?
I do not disagree in regards to Janine. It was like a speed bump. Like something happened. Like she's going like either before the speed bump or after the speed bump. You take your pick, but it was like, wait, what just happened? And then I would go Poverty, then Luke. I like Luke's better. And the only reason why I like Luke's better because if I'm not mistaken, the way he ended is I am Survivor. And the confidence level of that, because you have to have that. You have to have that when you go out there. You have to have this feeling of like, I'm going to win this game. And this is a whole lot different because this is a world. So you have to have the confidence in. I went against, some heavy hitters in the world of Survivor, and I'm sitting here and I feel like I am Survivor. I'm built for this. And that's what he said. I'm built for this. So that's why I would put Luke ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, I actually thought you have when you say something like that, you have the chance where it kind of comes across as a bit like eye rolly in a way, but I actually thought that his delivery and how he set it up too, like I liked hearing him talked about that open call, right? And being in the room with like 50 people. And if you're a fan of reality television, if you've ever auditioned and gone to like a live audition for these type of things, like that's pretty much what it's like. I know I did a Big Brother audition once with friends years ago. Never want to be on that show. Anyway, so like that, it was a nice reminder of he's just a fan who auditioned and got on, and now he's here. Ollie, it seemed like you were making some.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't saying nothing. Did nothing.
Say what you have to say, or so be it.
No, I disagree, but from my perspective, and I guess I see it differently. And I agree with. I loved the story at the start with Luke. I thought that was actually quite a really cute thing because, again, as someone who has also been in a room going for a show and didn't get it, like I thought that was quite cute. And I agree with the confidence. Like I think he definitely had a confident speech. I just didn't see the substance personally. Like in terms of like what he was trying to already showcase to the jury, I was kind of on the same boat as Lisa, who was kind of sat there going, okay. I was waiting for a little bit more substance. I appreciated the confidence. I just was like, okay, lovely. That was more my thing. I personally think that Poverty had more substance in her opening statement, but Luke had more confidence, if that makes sense. That's where I am.
You have someone in the live chat agreeing with you as well, which thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and comments in the live chat. As for, we know who wins, right? But as for Janine and Luke, were there any moments that you two felt like they lost?
Not then, though.
Yeah.
Not then, though.
You're referring to
to Sarah. That when I call it when Sarah mothered, because like bless Janine, as soon as she had said like I played a flawless game, I was like, oh no, like she said it in her opening speech, and I was like, you set yourself up. And then obviously like Sarah made the points that she was making, and then it literally. I cannot believe, like, I've never seen it before where 3 simple words can just end someone's chances like that. Like, that was, like, iconic to see in, like, a TV drama sense. I was devastated for Janine, though, because, like, you could see that, like, even in the editing, it was just like, yep, she's done there. Like, she has no more rebuttals or anything. So I did feel bad for that. But not then, though. Will be an iconic line that I will now keep to use.
Yeah.
I'm kind of regretting not putting the close-up of Sarah in that moment into this presentation. Kara, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think even after Janine's opening statement, it was kind of like she lost, but then I think the not then though kind of sealed the deal there, where there was no coming back after that. That was it.
What could she have said where the not then though? Because it's a funny scenario. If you're sitting there in normal life and someone says not then though, and you're just like, now you push back. I'm like, yeah, what are you talking about? Not then though. Later, and then you kind of go, that's how I am anyway. Like I'm going to be like, what are you talking about? And I'm going to go back and forth. She's trying to win the overall game. So she's being as nice as she possibly can when she hears a not then though. The jury doesn't, they can say whatever they want. And more than likely, there was some other bitter stuff that came out that they edited out, potentially. But she didn't fire back in the way that I think that the CEO of a company, one of them, you know, from Australia, one of the most successful women there, there's no way in hell that she's not going to go clap back at them and be like, no, hey, hold up. Like, stop interrupting me. Like, that's what she probably wanted to say, but she's got to be very nice and not say that. So I would have loved to have seen her give a little pushback because she said it multiple times to her. And it's like, okay, hold on, sister, chill. Let me finish.
Me too. And I wonder if this was a case of, to me, Janine's opening statement, it felt like she came in over-rehearsed in a way where once she said what she wanted to say, it felt like she wasn't quite able to volley in a way with the jury. And I think, Bruce, that's to your point with this sort of like, I was wondering why she wasn't able to sort of hit back in a way that she was going to be able to explain that move. Because to me, that move that they were referring to, which was telling Kirby that Sarah threw out her name, which again was true and they admitted it, to me, that was a self-preservation move. But I think they were on her case about it was so close to right when we were about to merge.
So I think the issue was that she didn't play it, like she didn't explain it in this moment maybe as a self-preservation move.
Right.
She was still going on about loyalty and trust. And they kind of brought that move in to be like, so where was the loyalty and trust? And I think she was still trying to find a way to put the loyalty into it when she couldn't. And I think that's what maybe threw her. Again, I think like you said, Matthew, I think where she was slightly over rehearsed, she wasn't ready for maybe something like that. And that's what threw her off, maybe.
One of the things too, they're sitting in Ponderosa, if they call it that in Australian Survivor, I'm not sure.
Jury Villa.
Jury Villa. That's actually nice. So they're sitting in Jury Villa, and Sarah, I think it was Sarah that said it. Like, so we're sitting there, we're all talking about this stuff. They've hashed this over 1,000,001 times, and Janine did not. She was not. She was just thinking about her next move and playing the game. They were ready with guns a-blazing to be like, okay, we got her here. Now, so if she says something, then all right. So what did she say? Okay, no, but then no. Okay, so we got that to counter that. All right, cool. So they go in with that artillery of stuff, and Jeannie's just like, and like you said, Matthew, it was well rehearsed. Like in her mind, when she went through all of that, probably didn't have a lot of objections that she was going to get back. Nobody thinks they're going to get an objection. They're thinking when they're talking that they're going to be getting, it's going to be flawless, and nobody's going to say anything back to them like, oh my God, that is the greatest thing that was ever been said. You have my name. Yeah, I'll write your name down. No, that's not the case. They're not bitter, but they've done their homework because they've been sitting in Ponderosa or Villa, whatever. I'm new to this.
Jury Villa.
Jury Villa. So, well, she wasn't ready for it. She got beat up a little bit. It's okay. It's a part of the game.
And it definitely did not help that there was that moment, like Zanz is pointing out, with Luke, where Luke turned and was like, it was because of you.
Even at Final Tribal Council, he's still hurting his ally.
It was a funny moment.
So at this point, JLP says it's time to vote. What did you think the vote split was going to be? I thought it was going to be, I thought Parvati was going to have all of them, to be honest.
Oh.
I agree with that. I think that she would have gotten all of them. Actually, what I wanted to see is have all three of them say, you know what, we don't want to win, give it to Cirie. That would have been
Dead.
I actually thought Luke was going to get more votes. I thought he might have gotten Shawnee's vote. Maybe not Kirk. I don't know about Kirby, but I still thought Parvati was going to win. I just thought Luke would get more than just one. And I'm happy he got one. He deserved it.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat as Cara. I definitely think he had Sarah's vote, and then I was kind of on the fence, being like he could get Shawnee's vote just because he did do one of the good things he did during that final tribal council was like showcase his relationship with Shawnee like quite a bit, which I thought was quite good.
Actually, another
but
moment.
I also agree with Mike's comment. So
go ahead. We could show it. Want to show it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do feel like I think that was also kind of where he went wrong, because in a lot of his answers, it was very much, well, this is what you guys did wrong. This is why, this was your fault. And I kind of was also sat there thinking like, but not all of the ownership is on the internationals. I think he did a great job at points of twisting to show how he navigated and adapted. But I do think he very much at times was trying to kind of poke at what other people did wrong instead of himself. Because again, I don't think we all know this. I wasn't the biggest fan of Luke's game. I think there was a lot of flaws. But yeah, sorry.
Had to sneak that in there. Just as you all know, I wasn't a fan of Luke's game. Nothing else. Anyway.
Point done. I love Jaden's comment.
I would agree. There was that, I would say, odd moment where he brought up the example of, I think Tommy asked a question and he blamed like all of the players that were involved in the international alliance, kind of blamed all of them for the decision not to take any of them to the reward. And I was like, well, first of all, that was purely Cass only. And then I was just, I don't know, Bruce, as a former player who's been in this scenario, do you think that was a valid thing to point out?
No. For some reason, and this isn't this again. This is just on the edited show that I watch. This is not geared directly towards Luke, but kind of it gave a narcissistic kind of feel. You know, this is the reason why. You're the reason why. Blah blah blah. Not taking any ownership. At this moment in time, it's like you're not looking to knock down the pegs. You're looking to build the pegs up. Like you're looking to, your game was great, and this is how your game made my game a little bit better because X, Y, like that's and not, you needed to do this and you didn't do that and blah, blah, like it's just. And not like I said, that's what came to mind when we're talking about this, and when I was watching, like, yo, you can't do that. You can push back a little bit, but you can't do that and say that this is your fault. This is your fault. This is your fault, not mine. I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I don't know. That's just what came to mind thinking about this. So, and being a part of it, like, being on the jury and being like, if somebody would have said something like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Your vote's going from me. I'm not giving it to you.
Yeah. Well, now, Kara?
No, I actually didn't hate how he mentioned we wanted to work with you. We tried, then you didn't take any of us, then you didn't talk to us for hours, and then I didn't hate it, but I understand maybe it wasn't the best thing to say at this point, but he did make a good point. They were trying to work with them. They didn't take any of them and then didn't talk to them, So I didn't hate it, but I understand why that wouldn't be a good thing to say at Final Tribal.
I think that's it. Valid reason, wrong timing.
Right.
You could have mentioned it after the fact.
But even still, bringing that up and being like, if it would have been a situation like, all right, so in playing and seeing you guys left and then you came back and we didn't talk for 24 hours, you didn't approach us, but I did go to you guys to have the conversation and tried to work in, if he showed that, if he tried to do that and then brought the attention to everybody that he was trying to do that, it's like, you didn't do this, but I did try to mend something. I did try to work with you guys by going over and having a conversation, then it would be a different. It could have been worded a little bit differently, taken in a little bit differently from everyone else. Like, oh yeah, he did try and do that. He did try to get his, his way in. And yes, now they can say, oh yeah, we did snub him. my bad, Luke. And then it made sense. It was full circle. But if you didn't try and do that, then now you're out. You're in your situation you're in.
I forget where I've heard this, but there was definitely a lot of winners have said it, and a lot of Survivor people have said it. Like, you want to make the jury feel included in your journey on the show. And it's not about like bashing their games, but more about highlighting how their games influenced your own, and the moves you had to make to get around some of those obstacles that come up with it. Zans, I so appreciate you being our biggest cheerleader in the live chat, letting us know that we have 47 people watching us live on YouTube, which thank you so much. And if you're here from Twitch or Twitter, thank you. Really appreciate it. And also, Kevin, yes, I'm so glad that you're able to watch the episode now. We are going to talk about the winner. So if you have not yet seen the episode and it would bother you to know who ends up winning, I would highly recommend clicking off, going to watch the episode and enjoy. All right, are we ready? Here we go. The winner of Australian Survivor Australia versus the world is Parvati.
Clap, Bruce. Yay.
Here we are in 2025. And we're saying that Parvati has won another season of Survivor. I mean, that's a sentence I never thought I would ever say again. Not because of Parvati's ability, but just the how this all had to happen for the way that it did. It's so incredible. And
I'm
Bruce,
still waiting for them to bring Cirie back up there, and they all quit.
Yeah. But Bruce, I think if you want to speak to this point, are you just anti-Parv, or are you?
No, it's all right. It's a weird thing in my mind. Like, she played a good game. I'll give you that, and I am allowed, just like everybody else is allowed, to want someone to win and not want someone to win. Okay, so what I'm looking at, I'm not anti-Pop. Like, she played a good game. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But I did not want her to win. And she did win. Now, notice when the screen came up, I gave the head nod. I gave the smile. I didn't clap because and not for nothing. I just watched my beloved New England Patriots lose a football game. So I'm losing all across the board. So I'm just pissy as it is. But listen, yes, Parvati, great job. You had years off from the last time you played, and you came out and your game was somewhat familiar from when you played the last time. I did pick up on a couple of different things. And, there are many, many times that you could have been voted out. But, the people that you aligned yourself with, they either had diarrhea of the mouth and they went and talked to somebody else about it. And then she found, when what was going on. And then she stuck around, which is perfectly fine. When I went to play, and what I was like, I want to get relationship with people so that they can tell me what's going on and I know what's up. And that's what happened with her. Maybe there's that thing that I didn't accomplish that she accomplished, but by having her alliances. Good for you. I appreciate that. But I didn't want her to win. I didn't myself personally. I did not want her to win. I wanted to see Luke win because he was the three that were left. And again, they all should have just said, "Forget it, we quit," and Cirie should have won. I'm sticking with that. I ain't going anywhere with that.
I'm not mad at that.
Well, they didn't. And we have Parvati, who is the winner. Kara, Ollie, I want to hear your thoughts on this as well. In terms of just like, oh, there we go. Surprise. Parvati won. In terms of just like this full circle moment. I mean, did you enjoy the storyline?
I did. I mean, we saw from the beginning, like, it was so clear that Parvati is gonna make it to the end at least, and probably win because she got such a great edit. So it was fun to watch her story from the beginning to the end and her complete that like full circle moment. And I was happy to see her win in the end. I think she played a great game. Like, with the bluff alone with the idol, that was a crazy thing for them to even believe and not even try and look at the parchment, before Luke even did anything. I think that was a great move. I think it's crazy that she got no votes throughout the season. I think it's crazy that she even made it to the end in the way that she did, being such a big target and having previously won everything. I mean, the fact that she got there, won, I think it was all very impressive. I was very happy for her. And, it's nice to see an American win.
Australian Survivor. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but to your point, we didn't even talk about that moment where she revealed to the jury that she was bluffing all along. We saw that big reaction from Cass. She even called Luke a bonehead for sending her back. She said, Luke, you should have known that by sending me back to the camp that there was going to be something there for me. That was a fun moment. She like turned to Janine. She was like, I'm here sitting with the world's Australia's #1 businesswoman, and then there's that bonehead sitting over there. She didn't say that, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, Parvati, in my opinion, like she killed this season, kind of obviously strategically. Like I agree, the fact that she was able to and I think that's what made her win in the end. It was the one-upping, like kind of similar to what Dee did in 45, where she was able to one-up Austin. I feel like Parvati one up Luke, and that's what kind of changed, like got the tide in her favor. But yeah, I mean, deserving winner. I mean, she is now a part of an elite group of 2-time winners. So sorry, I think someone said it in the chat. We've got Sandra, Tony, and now Parvati. What an iconic. Well, obviously there is more, just to throw it out there. There are more 2-time winners, but in the US sense. And I think someone else said it. I think Jaden said it. I can't believe Australian Survivor has now Parvati as a winner under their belt. Like, I think they're sat there going,
It's like, what world are we living in? That's a sentence that we're all saying now. Like, it's incredible. It's so cool. Congratulations, Parvati, on winning this season. Just what an incredible season overall in terms of just like how this came about, that this season exists in the first place. Like, what a treat for fans of the series overall. Let's just spend some time and talk about someone who's been a part of Australian Survivor since like the re-airing, or was he wasn't always JLP. We're talking about JLP. Let's talk about JLP for a second, because this guy has been such a staple to this series. And I have to say, I'm so sad that this is his last season. I guess it's bittersweet. I think that of all of the seasons to end on, this was a great season to end on, but I just really want to give JLP his flowers.
Oh, good. Yeah. Like, JLP was amazing this season. Like, it goes without saying, we all love JLP. An amazing host, so witty. And I was also thinking earlier, like, this is his last season, and the final person's flame he stokes out is Cirie. I'm like, that's a moment for him as well. Like, the last person he gets to do that to is Cirie. Obviously, he didn't know it at the time, but like, at least he got to end on an iconic season. So well done, JLP.
So now a former player is taking over for him. This is now making my mind go a little crazy, because Jeffrey's up there. This is something that's going to continue on, meaning that Survivor is going to continue on for a very long period of time, because they're very good in the ratings, and will continuously keep doing well in my mind. I want to be 65 years old watching this show. What player is going to take over with Jeff?
Right.
In the sense of, and Jeff would have control over it. JLP didn't have any control over what was going on.
Right.
But who's gonna take over? Who's gonna do their thing? Like, and it's got to be somebody with energy, and it can't. It's got to be someone that's witty and someone that's not trying. As much as everybody says Jeff's trying to make it his own, he really is funneling from what the players are doing. So, I want to see what that transition is going to be like in the next 3-5 years. And who it would be.
Yeah, I mean, David coming in, it's definitely Ollie's saying Rome, everyone, just in case you're
What's you say? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay, listen, don't remember what I said. I'm already a little angry.
What about Banu? Sorry. Shut me up. I'm gonna go mute.
I feel like it would be Boston Rob.
No.
If it's anyone. No.
Rob's Destronino.
Yes.
I
Okay.
mean,
Yes. I
yeah.
can see that. I can
Pretty
see
good option.
that.
I could see
That's
that.
good.
Abraham. No, I'm joking.
But I mean, like this, seeing David next season, it's definitely gonna be a test, I think, and I think that U.S. Survivor production, I think they're gonna be paying attention to how that is. I mean, I do see some of your comments in the chat. Just because I'm not sure fully, I do know about some talks and stuff, so we'll see how that all pans out. And of course, make sure that you subscribe to get those notifications when we end up talking about certain aspects of Survivor news and things like that. But Kara, anything else that you want to add regarding JLP?
It's been so fun, like watching him. I love him as a host. I think he's so fun. He's great. So it's definitely going to be different not seeing him on the next Australian Survivor season. He'll definitely be missed. And if this is a way to go out, I think this is the best way to go out. So he really, at least this was his last season, if anything,
I agree.
Yeah.
And JLP, you're amazing. Such an inspiration, I feel, to host everywhere. I really love how you handled this show. I also think your social media is incredible. I love that you're still celebrating the show online, celebrating David. I think that's a really very big of you. And it's just so great. So thank you for all you've done for the series. You truly have been a gift to Australian Survivor. With that, we have finished Australian Survivor, US versus the world. Ollie, I know that you had a question for each of us here.
I was just going to ask, like, this was truly a tremendous season. I just wanted to know what was everyone's favorite moment of the season.
I'm gonna have to think on that.
Oof.
Kara
I
or
know
Bruce,
mine.
have yours yet?
It's so hard. Like, so much has happened. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Maybe the Parvati bluff advantage thing. I think that was just a really cool moment, and that whole tribal council was really good. I enjoyed that a lot.
I'm thinking. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it a lot. Overall, to try and think of my most favorite, as you can see, I'm kind of stalling here to try and find something.
That's okay.
I'm just gonna give it. I mean, the entire thing. I loved watching the entire thing. It was good. Maybe George being voted out. Maybe that was the number one. But I'm just kidding, George. No, it was. I'm gonna say the entire season was great. It was 10 episodes. It was short enough. It was long enough. And I'm gonna say the entire thing.
And play along in the live chat as well. Thank you for doing that. I'm gonna show some of your favorite moments as well. Bruce, very funny about the George vote out. Ollie, what was yours?
My favorite actually is we all know who my favorite player was, so it is to do with them. My favorite moment was Sarah winning Fire, just because as someone that I know, she's a big fan, having that moment, and she also created a legacy with the Fire, with the swinging. If we ever see that happen on US, we know that they have watched AU Survivor. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I like that too.
Before I say mine, I want to share some of the comments in the live chat. Mary said the quote, "Curbs got cooked." It's a great quote. Zans says Luke getting Parv to tear her advantage. He definitely mentioned that a lot during his final tribal council. That was a big one for him and a really cool moment as well. Let's see. Mary says when Lisa was talking about Rob when he couldn't find the machete. Absolutely. Mine is what Jaden just said. Lisa distracting Tony. Just doing that. Oh, we're talking about Jess from UK doing the show. Is that what that was? Because I saw another comment before.
Jaden put a comment like higher up being like, imagine if Jess from the Survivor UK was on this season. That would be so funny. I would have loved that.
Well, and to build off of your point, Jaden, my favorite part specifically was the edit where the ladle fell into the water and Lisa like for some reason when he asked Lisa to pick him up. I was just like, that is ridiculous. So many funny moments, so many strategic moments.
She does talk about that in our exit interview with her, so if they go check that out.
Way to
And of course, like my mind goes now to Rome because Rome was the last person that had his head and body inside of the freaking well. So
and just like that, he's going to be the host of Survivor. Fabulous favorite.
I think we're going to have to end here, everyone. It's been so great finishing this season. I also want to, Dina, thank you so much for leaving this comment. I think it's a wonderful place to end this season. An older and wiser Parvati showing she can still kick butt, her endearing relationship with Cirie, and taking the win. I think that's you saying that was your favorite moment of this season. And you know what? It was really great. Thank you all so much for joining Bruce, Ollie, Kara, and myself for our recaps.
Just at the last moment. Just at the last moment.
he's going out the way that he came in.
I know that was okay. Let's quickly do that. Okay, I'll finish it off. You could not make this up. It starts this way, it ends this way. Thank you everyone so much for being with us this season, for watching along, for joining us on all the recaps, to all the guests that joined us as well during the recaps. Thank you. It was an absolute honor. As you all know, we have got some other things going. I'm just going to point this out. We have got some 49 coverage starting tonight. So I'm just going to mention that at 7 p.m. Eastern. Join us for the 49 draft, where Shaheen from 48 will be there with us. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon.